Just be showcasing some of the new feature that I've added. So a lot of them are used for remote. I've been using that myself, so it's really nice to be able to access any of your environment while you're working from the remote, check where Claude is, and what's nice is also really easy to set up how you want. Obviously here I did set up a quick VPS for you guys to try it quickly, but in general the relay server code is also inside the Git, and do recommend it hosting it yourself, or you can also pass directly by Cloudflare or Tunnel, local tunnel, ngrok, or anything you like if you want to share it yourself. So it's pretty easy and it works by itself. So let me just showcase it quickly. So here, if I am to run Claude mode, automatically it's gonna build it in prod. So if I want to run it with dev, obviously I could run it with dev. It is a bit higher bandwidth if you want to share your dev environment over um, tunneling. But if you're just wanting to work on what you want to do and just access it remotely, then you should probably use remote or build. So you would have a production build. So here I have my Claude Studio instance, right? And once I resize it correctly, I do see here at the bottom an hybrid remote. So if I was to run it without the Claude mode hybrid here, I wouldn't have that tab, but here I do. And then I get the relay with clode.studio. So this one here is the one, as I said, I quickly hosted it on a small server on fly.io. That code is also on relay server, but I do recommend you guys to host it yourself, right? So I'll just generate a new connection, and then you see it regenerate a new QR code with some new info. If those would not match with what I have here, then I would get an issue with connecting, right? So let me give you, so this one is WEV, it's the pairing code, right? So if I was to open it here in local, so I can open it both in local and remote, and change something either in the token, like I removed the F, put the E instead, it says the token's invalid. So you get double authentication, because your relay also has its own code that was generated, his own subdomain that's like temporary as long as this session works. So and those also get stored. So here I can also see which device are connected and revoke their access, right? So like if I was to go back here, connect again with the right information, then I could revoke that access here like this, and it gives me an access revoke, right? So I cannot access anymore my remote connection. So for the relay, how it works, it's the same thing. So but it's passing through the server. So for the local host here, you won't be able, obviously, to use it through your. You could use it anywhere in your house, right? As long as you're on the same Wi-Fi. But this one doesn't work. Obviously, you need to. If you are out then you just want to access your own stuff. You could access it with the relay, or by setting up, as I said, your own custom relay. There's also Cloudflare that was integrated directly. So Cloudflare Tunnel, I'll show it soon after. But so this is how it looks. When you pass through the relay, everything should be working one for one. So I could have something running here. As you can see, if I do a change here on my on my desktop, it just show instantly inside my remote. And the same thing for Claude, right? So if I was to talk with Claude or like tell him something, then it would update here. So one of the little issue that we have sometimes is that the size of the window that you have here might affect how you view Claude and your mobile. So to solve that, there's sometimes some refresh that like re-render it, or you could always like stretch them out a bit, or like keep this one a bit smaller when you know you're going to use remote. It does help out a bit. This is due to some external limitation. I am trying to work around them a bit, but I do want to get this out and get some tester working on it. I think it's always a good thing to go, and I think it's not a major blocker for now. So, and you can also start some on your remote. So let's say I want to start this because I'm out, and I want to start another instance because this instance might have some stuff I don't want to touch for now, or like I want to alt it. I could start this one, and it's gonna start it on my remote, as you see, even on my local. So as you see, it started it here and on my remote. So like that, on my remote, I can start a new chat even remotely. So yeah, all the function also works, right? So if you want to access your knowledge, your context, even your source control, or take some snapshot, it would take those snapshot on the desktop, obviously, not on on the remote. So if you take a snapshot here, automatically the snapshot will be saved on your remote. So if I come back here, then automatically like that snapshot is taken there. Same thing for a switch of tree. If you want to go on a different work tree, for the remote, it's always the same work tree, but you can still compare and what's happening. And what's interesting too is that the editor does work the same way. So it works in remote the same way that it would work in local. So let's say I want to use some of the new feature that we had seen, like LSP, it's passed by the remote, and same thing for autocode generation, right? So if I come here and then I want him to finish some stuff, I could do console log and then pass him this, and then automatically Claude, the instance of Claude inside my desktop would try to finish it with ghost text. So I could use that, or even bigger code generation. I could, this is in my previous video, but you can describe what you want and it's gonna generate code directly inside that file, right? So when I save it, saves it back to my main session. And yeah, so one thing that's interesting too is that in local, I could always use it to develop on two different stuff. This one is a token is invalid because of our revoking of earlier, obviously. But yeah, so I could always I could always use this localhost to be able to host two sessions of this while I'm working on one. I could be working on that one at the same time. So yes, let me just let's keep going. So yeah, let me just present quickly. So as I said, all of the feature are there, so you can handle all your Claude Studio environment from the remote. And so this one is using, as I said, the Claude Studio relay server I set up, but I do recommend you hosting it yourself. So the relay server information are directly inside Git, so you could find it here inside relay server, and you will be able to set it up yourself on any of your own fly IO and everything if you want. If not, there's a few other options that are pretty good and performing. They're passing through other tunneling options. So here, basically, if you want, and if you use the relay type Claude, but you put your own URL, or you could just pass relay URL without relay type Claude, and then that would be your own relay server. I won't do it here because I haven't set up a second relay server, obviously. But then you could also have one that I have built directly integrated is the Cloudflare Tunnel. So if I was to pass here my Cloudflare Tunnel instead of passing the Claude option or no option at all, then it would connect through Cloudflare. So as you can see here, it connected through Cloudflare. And if I come here to generate, instead of generating Claude Studio instance, it would generate a Cloudflare instance. So if I come back here and connect, then it would pass all the data through Cloudflare. My challenge with that, it's not necessarily that it's not good. In general, like there's some stuff that Cloudflare seems to be blocking or like slowing down. So here you see the terminal sometimes have trouble connecting, but in general it works pretty well and goes quick. It's a pretty decent solution, this one, if you want to go through Cloudflare and not having to relay on the relay server. And it's pretty straightforward on on how it works. So you can make it work like this, and it's gonna work together anyway. Then the other option, as I said, on the MD is to just host it yourself. So you can always host it by using any tunneling. If you have ngrok installed, or you want to use something like serveo or tunnel mole or local tunnel, I use Bohr quite often too, so Bohr is great too. So you can always pass it directly. So let me just show you how. So let's say I would say relay type custom and use the remote mode, then automatically the hybrid mode, then automatically this would give me only local hosts, and I would replace with whichever I've decided to use, right? So if I was to use Bohr here, then it would give me my Bohr instance here, so I could use that in front of the localhost URL. So if I come back here, start my localhost, and then just replace it with my Bohr pub, then automatically the traffic would be routed, and I would get access to it with an easy access, obviously. So this one works really well. The speed is really good in general. So as I said, Cloudflare is there because it's a known one, it's free and everything. I do know that I felt it a bit slower at times, but there's some decent options with Bohr or with tunnel mole, local run, anything that you have used anyway, local expose. There's a few of tunneling options that exist, but I just listed a few that were easy. And if you want to not just use local network, you can disable the relay so it won't get out, but you would still be able to use localhost 3000. Or you could also just build directly without if you don't use cloud mode hybrid, then it wouldn't start the relay server, the socket server at all, so you wouldn't be connected out of at all, so you would just not see it. So let me just give you an example here. If I was to run it without hybrid, and then I just run serve, preview, sorry, preview. So if I was to run preview automatically, here there's no like hybrid mode that was done, so you can see it's offline, so there's no it's not synced to anything, and you can always use it directly on your computer as usual. You can also use dev to develop, obviously those are still there. This is just an easier build that is a bit lighter, and you don't get the hot reload obviously and all that stuff. So this covers most of the new developments, so I hope you guys enjoy. I have been working a bit hard on this, and I'm quite excited. I've been using it also for a day or two with the older version I had. So now that it's pretty much done and working well, I'm happy to share it with everyone. Thing that I did forget to mention, obviously, was the mobile view. So yes, everything is working with mobile too. So it's really easy to track and still do requests directly from your mobile too if you're on the go. So you can access anything that you have on your desktop, right? So I could ask him some requests, and if I come back here on my desktop, all those requests are being sent automatically. So, and the same for typing, right? So you saw it earlier, but if I was typing for either of my terminal, then everything is shared between them. So if I type here, then automatically it's shared there. And same thing for my Claude, and I can start instances from here. And if I start an instance here, then it starts there. So it's all shared basically between them, and this includes every add-on that we have. You can access from your mobile directly and take care of your environment and change stuff if you need while you're on the go.